On Sunday, the 22nd of September 2013, a group of families of offenders who have been accused of drug trafficking and have been sentenced to death gathered in front of the parliament and demanded for an alternative punishment for these offenders. Iran's high rate of executions passed by the judicial system has been criticized by the human rights organizations. At 12 a.m. on the 20th of September 2013, Omid Shah Moradi, a political activist imprisoned in Section 350 of Evin Prison, started his hunger strike in protest against the lack of response by officials about his accusations, not allowing legal representation in administrative and financial affairs to follow up on his case, as well as family problems that have occurred. During the past week, whilst expressing their concern over the reports of the imminent executions in Iran of 4 Kurdish Sunni minorities, the Amnesty International urged the senior officials in the Islamic Republic of Iran to halt their executions. Kasran Nouri and Saleh Moradi, defenders of the rights of Gonabadi dervishes, whilst writing another complaint letter, stated that, in addition to Mohammad Reza Shahbazi being a major cause of conflict against the dervishes in Kawar city, one other clergyman called Ali Reza Qaimi was also involved in a conflict in Kawar city that collaborated with Shahbazi. Maulana Abdul Hamid, Zahedan's Friday prayer leader, wrote a letter to Sayyid Ali Khamenei, the leader of Iran, regarding the death sentence of 26 Kurdish Sunni youths who are in Rajai Shah prison of Karaj, and asked him for his intervention on this issue. Furthermore, Ahmad Ronaghi Maliki, the father of Hossein Ronaghi Maliki, wrote a new letter to ask for the agreement of the Tehran prosecutor Jafar Dolatabadi regarding his son's medical leave due to his poor condition in prison. Despite the legal medical report concerning Hossein not being able to tolerate imprisonment, Khodabakhshi, the deputy prosecutor in Evin prison, has disagreed with Hossein's medical leave request.
Ali Reza Ashtian, the chairman of the Islamic Council in Zanjan province, announced that 240 workers of the Zanjan lead and zinc factory have lost their jobs due to the factory going bankrupt. In recent weeks, 800 Naval Shipbuilding Industrial Corporation workers have been dismissed from the factory's Sadra. The labour workers in Bushehr have informed that the remaining 700 workers will also be dismissed, bringing the total number of dismissals in the Sadra factory to 1,500. On Thursday the 19th of September, Mohammad Rasulov, director and award winner of the Cannes and Telluride Film Festival, was stopped at passport control on his return to Iran. His personal identifications, documents and laptop were all seized from him. Although it was announced in the media that political prisoners from Section 350 would be released, in reality only 2 were released while 9 new prisoners were detained. The names of the new prisoners are as follows: Arvin Sedakh Kish, sentenced to 3 years, Shahram Yarmand, Mehdi Tarak, Aiza Malak Mahmoudi, Murtaza Viche, Hamid Babai, detained temporarily, Abbas Omidi, sentenced to 2 years, Mohammad Sajjad Ahmadi, sentenced to 6 months, and Akhbar Amini, temporarily detained after serving a 5-year sentence in relation to a new file. Last week, 8 people who were accused of drug trafficking were hanged in the central prison of Yazd. Their deaths were implemented after the approval of the Attorney General. 4 years ago, a youngster at the age of 14 was charged with premeditated murder, and having recently reached the age of 18, was executed on Monday the 23rd of September in Karazun.
Reports suggest that, on Tuesday the 24th of September 2013, 4 people accused of rape were hanged in Kerman prison. Behnam Chegini, a member of President Hassan Rouhani's election campaign in the city of Arak, and a human rights activist, was arrested last week. The reason for his arrest, according to his relatives, include political and human rights activism, his posts on Facebook, and also some remarks about the rights of women. On Tuesday, the 24th of September 2013, Saeed Naimi, a member of the General Alumni Association of Iran, was transferred to Tabriz prison charged with propaganda against the Islamic Republic of Iran. A 50-year-old man, who had been accused of murder approximately 7 years ago, was hanged in the central prison of Mashhad. During the past week, 3 prisoners who had been previously sentenced to death were hanged in the central prison of Urumia city. The death sentence of a Kurdish citizen, who is one of the defendants of mass graves of Afghan, Pakistani and Iranian refugees, was approved by the Supreme Court in the border of Iran and Turkey.
Last week, a 75-year-old Baha'i citizen named Behzad Shokui attempted to start a petition in order for the Agriculture Ministry to respond to his demands. In response, he was summoned in, where he was beaten following orders from the governor of Tehran. Vali Dorudi, a Kurdish political prisoner in Yazd Central Prison, has been deprived of having prison break for the past 17 years. This Kurdish political prisoner was arrested on the basis of cooperating with the Kurdish Democratic Party, despite the fact that Vali Dorudi has spent more than half of his sentence period in prison. He is still deprived of his right to leave. The last 2 weeks has seen the telephone lines in the Ebrat section of the Adal Abad prison in Shiraz disconnected by order of the prison authorities. There are a total of 10 religious prisoners in this section of the prison, including 5 Gornobadi Darvishes, 3 Christian converts, and 2 Baha'i. The authorities have announced that the telephone lines will remain suspended until the court day of the 5 Gornobadi Darvishes. On Wednesday, the 25th of September, 2 Sunni prisoners of Ghazal Hesar prison, who have been sentenced to death, were transferred to solitary confinement. The counter-insurgency guards are also intending to transfer the remaining 4 prisoners to solitary confinement. Furthermore, a Kurdish journalist named Ghazam Ahmadi, a citizen of Mahabad, has been sentenced to 2 years' imprisonment by the appeal court of Urumia city. On Thursday, the 19th of September, Ahmad Reza Najdad, an author, researcher and blogger, was arrested while leaving the country from the international airport in Tehran city. Badro Sadat Mofidi, a member of the Journalist Association, announced that it has been almost 3 weeks since this association wrote a letter to the 3 Ministers of Information, Employment and Guidance, demanding for the cancellation of banned activity. However, none of the ministers so far have responded to the requests.
it has been reported that Mr. Majid Mohammadi Moini, the reporter of monthly and daily newspapers by the names of Bayan and Salam respectively, had requested for a short leave of absence from prison due to his mother's spinal problems. However, the prosecutor prohibited his request. Asghar Mahmoudian, a political prisoner who is serving a 6-year prison sentence in the city of Semnan, has requested permission to go to hospital for a serious condition. Muhammad Saber Malik Raisi, a young Baluch political prisoner serving a 15-year sentence in prison, has not been allowed to call and meet with his family for the past 16 months. Peyman Aref, a political activist and a member of Jabhe Milliye Iran, has submitted his last defense to Evin Prison Court, where he is charged with acting against national security. According to reports, on Tuesday the 24th of September 2013, even though the 4-year prison term of Mohammad Reza Maghaseh, who was charged with his involvement in the contested presidential elections 4 years ago, has ended, the judicial officials have refused to release him. On Wednesday the 25th of September 2013, the Iranian parliament passed a bill under which an adopted child will be allowed to marry his or her foster parents.
Reza Malek, a former official of the Ministry of Information who has been in prison for a long time, is suffering from spinal problems. It is likely that he may become permanently paralyzed. A family member of Mariam Shafai, a student activist currently in prison, was threatened by the court due to disclosing information about her.